You're listening to Must Be Heard Radio.
Yeah, we started that one off with India Shaw, No One to Feel. We have Small Town Uprise, Hip Hop Love, Reflection Eternal, Memory Live, Shane Kid, Learn, Love, Live, featuring DJ Asian, and The Roots, Clock with No Hands. And that will conclude this edition of Must Be Heard Radio. And I want you guys to check out Bandcamp.com. Of course, look for Dynamite at Bandcamp.com. Also, anybody has any kind of music they want to send of their own, send to djdynamite@gmail.com. And I'm always looking for some new music, some new, not trendy necessarily, but just good down to earth music. And I will see you later on Must Be Heard Radio.
Also, Pierre Thomas in Washington, Chief Justice Correspondent. Pierre, let me begin with you. The intelligence officials, Brian just said, are not ruling in or ruling out anything at this point. And one of the things that's so mystifying, no one has stepped forward to claim responsibility.
Well, I spoke to a senior official this morning who said typically in the hours after a bombing like this, terror organizations like to claim responsibility. They want the credit for their deadly work. A number of people were interviewed overnight, George, I can tell you. Some associated with that Saudi student who's in the hospital. My source emphasized they still don't know if this young man had anything to do with the bombing, but out of an abundance of caution, they're trying to dissect his life. But piecing together the bomb remnants is key, because the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms have a vast catalog of past bombing incidents. They will compare that to whatever information they can get about these particular devices and try to come up with a list of potential suspects, George.
And Pierre, this is exactly the kind of attack Homeland Security officials have been worried about for the last several years. Not necessarily all that sophisticated, but attacking a soft target.
Exactly. They were reasonably confident that they could prevent a 9/11 scale attack, something huge, which would involve a lot of people. But what they worried about were small scale attacks like this, which probably involve a small number of people that would go after a soft target. Large numbers of people, where security, while fairly intense, could not control everybody that would have access to the venue.
Okay, Pierre, thanks very much. And Martha Raddatz here. One of the eerie elements of this whole bombing here is relatively crude bombs, portable bombs, and the kinds of injuries you saw in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Saw them all the time. This whole street, this whole scene is so reminiscent of war zones in Baghdad, in Afghanistan. When the war in Iraq began, there were very small bombs. They were not military-grade bombs, but they do a great deal of damage. And those kinds of bombs would be placed in backpacks. They would be placed on the side of the road, precisely to target people walking by.
And we're learning now the kinds of injuries that so many of the victims have are exactly the kind that a lot of our service people got in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is going to be a long recovery.